And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the late night special of this stream. And you can be watching from anywhere around the country or the world or anywhere in the galaxy, and I appreciate it. And also, we have some different topics that we will be discussing, and I will be doing the gaming, and I will be doing the other things as well regarding the the game and stuff like that. All right. So let's now. I will be switching over to the other screen in a moment. We'll be going here. Okay. Let's try this. Doing something with the lighting. That's what I'm doing. I don't know how that's going to work. All right. Let's just switch it over anyway. All right. Hello, everybody. The lighting is not may not be the way I usually would like it. So, as I said, it is what it is. But so, hello. I will be talking about some things regarding the aliens. I'll be doing stuff with the game at first, and then I will be going along with the other topics as well. All right. And now what I'll be doing is starting the game. Well, I have to get the game part out. That's the wrong place. To go here. All right, the game is booting up. All right. Okay, and the game it is starting. It's loading. That's what the game is doing. I hope that all of y'all are been having a great evening. And also, well, it's actually the morning time technically. And I was originally going to do a phone live, but basically, one thing I'm going to do really quick. Okay. All right. Let's see. Well, what I'm going to do here is thanks for everybody for your patience. Oh, I'm going to put the game on so y'all can see it. All right. I'm just adjusting the light here so it'll look a little bit brighter. Okay, so we're going to go here. All right. We'll go put it like that. And then we'll be going over to, let's see, we're going to open this other thing up. All right. So shout out to all of you. Thank you for being here. And if anybody is actually here. And all right. So we're just going to have to put everything in this other mode. All right. There we go. All right. Hey DJ, good to see you. Welcome. Glad that you're here with us. Okay, now I'm going to be playing the game. All right. So basically, I was already inside. I was already inside, so that's why I decided to just stay in here and do this stream. I was going to do an early stream. And I was going to not do an early stream. I was going to do a phone live outside, which would have been fine. But since I was already inside, I didn't want to disrupt sleeping aliens, so I did this. But tomorrow, tomorrow during the evening, I'm going to do a live like this. But afterwards, after a little while afterwards, I'm going to do another live through my phone outside, and I'll show you the garden, DJ. You know, we'll have one of those episodes. All right. All right. So we have this. Okay. Yes. Yes. I would have done it, DJ, but I just, as I said, I didn't want to wake up the. I didn't want to disturb sleeping aliens. Yeah. All right. We're gonna fire the cannons. All right. All right. We're taking out this monarch. And DJ, I hope that you're having a good week. You had a good evening, a good week, and all that stuff. I'm glad you're here with us. And DJ, I'll be in a little bit from now. It won't be too long. I'll talk. We'll talk more about the Matrix and see what more we can rediscover about it. Because I will read the rest of it, and I will also look up some information about some alien stuff I researched. I'm going to show an earlier audience tomorrow. My week's been going fantastic. Thank you for asking. It the garden's coming out beautifully. The daikon is coming out very well, and the spinach, everything is coming out great. So DJ, there is this thing about the the aliens. So there's this there's this planet allegedly called Sapora. I might not be remembering exactly how this pronounced, but it's something like that. And allegedly, our government, a long time ago, back in back in like the 60s, allegedly made contact with it has to do with the Roswell crash, but some more about it. Hello, Eugene, buddy, good to see you, man. And basically, oh yeah, all right, hello everyone. So basically, they were trying to go and find this information from this alien. So there's a crash that happened around the Roswell crash, and this alien survived, and they interviewed it and did information on it. And the reason why the aliens are crashing was because of the radar we have here. It causes their ships to malfunction, and also so what I'm talking about is this space mission that occurred where they some astronauts from our planet from a secret government mission went to a country called a planet called Sapora. I'm saying it wrong. Supra. No, it was Sepra. Something like that. Which I have. It's an easy pronunciation. I just don't quite. I'm still learning about it, and since it's new information to me, I may not be correctly remembering exactly how it was the word exactly, but it was so they had these certain astronauts that were selected for this mission where they would have to be completely removed from society for 10 years to go on the space mission because the government was making this agreement with this other planet where they would want the body back of the alien that from the alien crash. Sarah, I'm overjoyed to see you. I was going to do a phone live and show the garden, but I didn't want to disturb sleeping aliens because I was already inside. And now what I'm going to do is talk about this topic inside. But tomorrow I'm going to in the evening I'm going to do an evening stream early. Then later at night, I'm going to do a phone live outside, and I'll show you all the garden. It'll be like an after party stream for the phone. Anyway, so these aliens were coming. These aliens from Sepra. They were wanted the body back of the alien that was passed away. That was in the accident, and they wanted their technology. So they had these astronauts, that were selected. That their identities, their social security, everything was erased. Their names are erased, and they're going to go on this mission. And they would take them a couple of 8 months to go to that planet. And it's in the same constellation where the Greys originally come from, of Zeta Reticuli. And also, I think that in this situation, there is a problem where you have, these aliens are untrustworthy, and we've talked about what they may be exactly, and it's quite an interesting thing to think about. And it's allegedly, we don't know if it's real or not, what exactly happened, but it's an alleged event that occurred. So then these aliens, where they picked up the astronauts and they brought them into the UFO, and the UFO goes into this bigger mothership. and it's kind of like North Korea in there. It just gives off North Korean vibes, and they're in these pods, and they kind of get sick, but they kind of recover from it. And then one of them is missing, one of the crew members from the humans. And the aliens said that he was ill, but they're not being honest about what happened to him exactly. And then they continue. So they go on their journey, and they want to have like a battle. They had firearms on them during this time, and they said they want to use their firearms, and they said it's not necessary. He's just being cared for in a facility. And these aliens are like computers. They don't have any emotions like we do. So they said with no emotion. They're just like, no, 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 that's not necessary. And they talk their way out of it. I tell you, it's like talking to Chat GPT on steroids or some sort of a computer. They're not humans like us. Some people think they're. It's also theorized these type. They're not the gray aliens. They're the Ebians. It's similar, and they're actually at war with the Greys. Allegedly, they're at war with them. So as I said, I don't, and some people think that they're. Which I was watching this other podcast, and Sarah gave me the name of it, but at the moment I am not thinking of what the name of it is, see, because of the Timu brain fog right now. But I know it. I'm just not at the moment articulating what the name is. But that there's these insect type aliens, and these insect type aliens were there. Like these insect aliens created the Greys, and sometimes the lizard aliens are seen as the ones that created them. And so I know it sounds quite far out, but that basically the point is that the Greys are some sort of robot. And it's like just to emphasize these type of aliens, if they're really aliens, if they really exist, or if there's some sort of fallen angel or something or a creation of them, it is like a robot. I just got to emphasize that. It's not like little green men or something from Star Trek. It's something very out of this world. So, and I'll be explaining this tomorrow again to the earlier audience. So when you see this tomorrow on the earlier stream, you'll see like basically the same type of information with some other additional information about other things too, for their audiences that aren't able to be there. All right, so just as a heads up. So anyway, so what happened was we went and talked about these, this alien group, and eventually they arrive at their planet, and it takes them 8 months, and they're still concerned about where their friend is. And the Ebians, how they live, the way it works is they live on this planet that is very hot with two suns. There was an alleged photo of it, and there's allegedly much classified other photos of it. And they live in these type of like Pueblo type huts, allegedly. It's a very hot planet. And now the Greys are said to really like the cold weather, so that doesn't seem like the Greys, but it isn't the Greys, but they look kind of similar to them. And they live in like a communist type commune utopia thing, and their electricity is in some sort of a light fixture with some sort of plasma in it. It's not like the kind of lights we have here. And they're extremely advanced, but they live very primitively. The food that they had, where it's like chalk. It was like, mud and chalk. That was basically what was in their food, and they had an herb to make the food more bearable because it was very hard to eat their food because it was so bland. But they had some herb that helped. They learned and got their technology. And they got a lot of their technology. And basically, with the technology that they have, is that and allegedly a lot of the technology that they had that we were given, and it was actually 13 years that they stayed there. And you're thinking about what happened to their friend. I see what you're saying, Eugene. I'll get to you in a moment. It's very creepy. So their friend, they said, passed away, and they thought that they did something to the friend, but he passed away from some complications. And there's laboratory somewhere, and like on their spaceship and on their planet, and you had all these hybrids of human and aliens, and you had these other hybrids of these creatures that you cannot explain, like a giant refrigerator looking thing with three eyes on it. So there's these creatures that cannot be comprehended. Did they come from our planet? We just haven't discovered it yet. Is it something from space? Is it some fallen angel thing? Who knows? And the Bible says about how the fallen angels mixed with all the animals and people on Earth, and were all been tampered with. Now, I will not judge the scripture and say that it's now. There's some things I'll say a modern interpretation of certain things from the Bible, but that doesn't contradict it. But I will say that the fallen angels lusted at earth women, like you looking at a guy or a girl, whatever you're into, and they go with them. Now, I have this theory that may be false or maybe connected with it somehow, but I wonder if the people in the Bible didn't know the technology of artificially creating people, and maybe these fallen angels, which are the Greys or some sort of alien species, were taking the humans and artificially creating these hybrids like the Nephilim. Because it's like if you have an offspring, it may be tall, short, have different eyes or hair, whatever. But if it was genetically modified to be a giant thing, or be whatever, or be very intelligent, or be different than the other humans, because like Sarah was showing me, that the fallen angels were trying to modify the humans to make them superior than the other ones, us. But of course, we're mixed with them too. We have characteristics of these things as well, here and there. But overall, they're trying to make a new race of humans. So I wonder if it's possible that this may not be contradicting the lust for Earth women thing, but maybe they were artificially creating hybrids to challenge us, these giants and these strong, like Terminator type things, and these other types of monsters to recreate what God did and to go against us. And that they were just artificially created, and they're still doing that now. That maybe the angels like can't lust the way we would lust at somebody because they don't reproduce like we do. So I wonder if it was like a scientific thing over a human urge. But as I said, the Bible is right. I'm just an alien floating around in a flying saucer. What do I know? And this truth might be somewhere in between, but it says that they lusted at earth women and went with them like you would go with a significant other. Just keep that clear. That's what the Bible says. But it doesn't deny the other thing, that the fallen angels. And Sarah, now it's Eugene. I'm going to read what Eugene said because he's been hanging there. I don't want to leave him hanging. He says, I was listening to a radio program back in the 2000s, and the guest said astronauts went to a planet. It looked like bees. One astronaut had a heart attack from looking at one. Yeah, they're so creepy, and they give off really evil black vibes. Look, people are going to think I'm talking about an ethnic skin color. Going back to ancient times, especially in Europe and the Middle East, maybe in Africa too, blackness and darkness was associated with an aura, not necessarily someone's skin color. I will say not at all with someone's skin color. You could have a white person with blonde hair and blue eyes that gives off a dark, evil vibe. You could have a black person. You could have a black person that gives off white, angelic vibes, like Martin Luther King, for instance. Now, some people may not, think Martin Luther King was controversial, but he did a noble thing by what he did. I'm not saying everything's perfect or every group is perfect or things could be improved or could have been done differently, but just an example, there could be good and bad in both races. But so when I mean a dark aura, I'm not even talking about religion specifically, just any faith can agree with good or bad vibes. Dark or light, as the Bible says. And hello, True Crime. Good to see you. I've been up the entire time, actually. I've been up the whole time. I never went to sleep. And I'll be going to sleep in a couple hours. Actually, the other night, I stayed up all the way till 8 in the morning, or 7 in the morning, 7:30 or something, all the way up to 7:30 to tell the law and crime people good morning. And then I went to bed for a couple hours, and then I woke up a little bit later. So, yeah. Thank you, Eugene, for sharing your story. That, the fallen angels give off this dark vibe to them, and they're very creepy, and also they give off some purple, so something that's kind of like very intelligent and eccentric, kind of like me. And those two things at once may kind of give off something spooky. So yeah, it would, and also there could be something hypnotic about it as well. Thank you, Eugene, for telling us about that. And Sarah says, totally biblical. They created it by mixing elements and beings. Lust. Okay. No way again but listening. Okay, Sarah. Totally biblical. They created by mixing elements and beings. Lust used was a kind of jealousy. They were not made to and cannot procreate right. Thank you, Sarah. Well, I'm glad the Holy Spirit has inspired me with that. So I will also make something clear for chat. It's like, so what that means is I, on my own, with my own brain, thought of this over and over again. I believe the Holy Spirit, which we believe in Christianity, inspired me or helped guide me to that conclusion. And I think even any kind of spiritual faith, even if they don't believe in God or Jesus in that sense, that they would agree in spirituality, at least. And that the spirituality guided me to those conclusions, whatever people believe in. Because it's like these angels cannot, it's not like, because humans are created to whatever created us, however it was happened. If it was evolution, if it was God, if it was the milkman, if it was, whatever created us, or however we came into existence, procreate the earth. But the angels, those that would believe in those things, they don't reproduce like we would. And these creatures are different than what we are in the Christian and the Abrahamic, maybe other faiths in their theology. So just linking that to Christianity, because the link here. So basically, true crime, I'm talking about an alleged conspiracy that about Moki told me about, one of our law and crime friends, about this planet that, I hope I'm not getting people mixed up there, but one of them, yeah, so I know one of them told me that, but basically, it was Moki, about the incident where these astronauts from Earth came over to our planet, from our planet to a planet in Zeta Reticuli, which is where the Greys allegedly come from. So and I will be talking about this tomorrow in the evening live stream that I'll be doing. So you'll, as I said, this is a disclaimer, you'll hear me talking about this again to the other audience that will be there earlier. So basically what happened was, with these aliens, these astronauts were brought into a UFO. The UFO went over to this other planet, and basically one of their friends went missing and was kind of captured by them. And it seems that what they did was they either killed the person, like they euthanized him, or he really got sick, and they used his body for an experiment to completely go and create these hybrid creatures. So in this alien conspiracy, in this the aliens had this laboratory where they had all these hybrid human and alien creatures, and this one creature that's unexplainable. It was a refrigerator with like three eyes on it, something that we don't even know what it is exactly. And on this alien planet, they had Pueblos. These aliens had Pueblos, and it was a very hot planet. And they ate things that were like chalk. That was like their food, something like chalk. And they had this other stuff, this sort of herb that they have on the planet that they used for to make it more bearable to eat it because it's kind of cringe to eat it. So Sepro is the planet. Yeah, so and I think as I said how the Bible will talk about these aliens that these angels that created these hybrid things. And if it has these hybrid things that are all over the place, it just sounds similar to the alien theory. It sounds very similar to it. So that was with that planet, and they were there for 13 years, and they came back. And they got information, and the reason why they went there was to get their technology that they needed. And then when they came back to our planet, they wanted to take back one of the bodies of one of the people that were one of the aliens, because one of the aliens crashed through the atmosphere because of our radar signals, and they crashed into the Earth. And then we retrieved one of the survivors and the bodies, and they wanted them back, so they did an exchange. As I said, it may not be true. It may have been created to cause discord in the community of UFO researchers. It may have been complete nonsense, and it's a very far out story. But as I said, it's allegedly they're saying it. The people that made it, that brought this to everybody's attention, they're saying it was a true story. In spite of them sowing discord, they also said it was true. They still say that to this day. It wasn't a hoax. But as I said, this is very far out. And on Sepro, it's in the Ebians were enemies of the Greys, and this is where a lot of our technology comes from. And yeah, so that is an alien theory that I thought was very fascinating because I'm glad that I was told about it by one of our companions because I always want to know about the gray aliens planet, although it's not the gray aliens, and the grays seem to enjoy colder climates allegedly. But the Ebians so it's in the same solar system as the grays, and as I said, people are wondering exactly what's going on with that human alien hybrid. It's still there over at that planet right now. And because there's a lot of UFO stories that people have, and they all claim that they were used in experiments to extract human and alien DNA to create a hybrid thing. What is the purpose, And as I said, it has eerie similarities to Christianity. What it talks about with these different UFOs that are being seen. And also, so that is that about the alien stuff that I could go on all day about, really. And I was having fun with the Law and Crime chat. We were having a good time. And I was making Silver Fox laugh the entire day for days now. And also, a new alien on our spaceship is Vash. He's a cool dude. And, he's another one that we have on our spaceship that I got from the Long Crime Chat recently. Right, Sarah, understood you're listening. Yeah. And, and basically one of the people on the mission, he was able to erase his identity completely because he had no family or anybody, and he could be gone for 10 years and not be a problem. And now the Congress is talking about the UFOs. I sneezed. Well, I'm alright. Yeah, so basically, what happened was we had this. Oh, they're all gonna gang up on me now. No, you had this alien situation that occurred, and I think that there's a lot of things out there. You don't know. Like people are saying, it's more scary to be alone. I'm like, I think it might be kind of freaky if there's something else out there lurking in the shadows. As see y'all are talking about. What about the Rh negative factor? Do we have alien blood? I don't know. I never get sick. I'm highly intelligent, highly sensitive. LOL, maybe. Yes, true crime. The Rh negative, that has to do with them too. Yes. That allegedly comes from when the fallen angels, or we would say aliens, or whatever you believe, whatever you think they are, and they could be two different things hypothetically, but just put it in layman's terms. Yes, the Rh negative came from not this planet, and allegedly, yes, yes, that's true. That's where you don't get sick and all those different things. Yeah, that is where that comes from, because they're trying to create a. It's a good thing that you have that. But yes, it does originate from them. It was tampering with human and alien DNA, mixing it together. Correct. And it is good to have UFO alien on our spaceship because aliens need to come on the spaceship. And glad that you're with us. Eugene says, "Do you remember about the aliens in Russian Park? It happened in 1989. One of the aliens was large with three eyes." Eugene, I've never heard of that incident, but I will we'll look into it. All right, and it's about time that we look into it. Okay, so we're gonna go here, kind of jog around this. Yes, that makes sense. It sounds like it sounds like you have the the blood type helps that with that. That's good. Yes. Yeah, and Rh negative. Yeah, that has to do with that. And like this water, that's like Rh negative flowing through the veins of you. Very nice. And I think that it can be very good to study these things. And I didn't catch COVID or flu either, by the way. Scared. So now what I will do is we're gonna go research some of the stuff. All right, we're going to go here. All right. All right, shout out to the spaceship cats. All right, so let's look up. We're going to talk about RH negative. All right, true crime. Perhaps we'll see you on the Friday evening stream. Thank you for stopping by with us. All right, so we just talked about RH negative, and we'll talk about this for a moment. All right, the positive negative signs, eh, the positive or negative sign next to blood group is known as rhesus factor. The Rh factor is an inherited protein that can be found on the surface of the red blood cell. Your body type is positive, then your blood cells have Rh protein. Yeah, blessings to you, true crime. Take care. Thank you. Yes, Rh negative is a rare blood type. It is considered rare and is only found in about 15% of the world's population. Rh negative blood is even rarer. Rh negative is even rarer with fewer than 50 known cases. Rh factor is a protein on the surface of red blood cells. If your blood has Rh protein, you're Rh positive. If your blood cell lacks Rh protein, you're Rh negative. Rh positive is the most common type. Rh factor during pregnancy. Pregnant people who are Rh negative need to take proteins to prevent developing anti-Rh negative antibodies. Anti-D injections can help prevent these antibodies from developing. If you're Rh negative and pregnant, you'll be offered an injection of anti negative D around 28 weeks. Rh factor and blood transfusions. Rh factor is also important when you need a blood transfusion. Oh, thank you, Eugene. Oh yeah, AI overview. That made no sense. AI overview. No, O negative blood is not the same as Rh negative blood, but they are blood types. O negative blood. This blood type lacks the A and B antigens. Rh factor is considered universal blood type because it can be given to anyone without triggering an immune response. This blood type lacks the Rh factor but can have ABO antigens. A person with Rh negative blood can donate to people with Rh negative or Rh positive. Explanation: blood type is determined by presence of absence of antigens in the Rh factor. On red blood cells, the Rh factor is an inherited protein. O negative lacks A and B antigens, and the Rh factor O positive lacks A and B antigens, but has the Rh factor. A negative has the A antigen, but lacks the Rh factor. A protein has the antigen and the Rh factor. B negative has the B antigen, but lacks the Rh factor. B negative has the B antigen, but lacks the Rh factor. B positive has the B antigen and the Rh factor. AB negative has AB antigens but lacks the Rh factor. AB positive has AB antigens and the Rh factor. Look up this UFO incident. All right, let's get into this. And I looked up this before at some point, by the way. All right. The pronunciation might be a little bit skewed, but here we go. Varan Ezha UFO incident. Varan Hessa. Varonza. UFO incident was alleged UFO extraterrestrial alien sighting reported by a group of children in Voren Ezha, Soviet Union, on September 27, 1989. The area has been popular with UFO hunting tourists. According to TASS boys, playing football in a city park saw a pink glow in the sky, then saw a deep red ball about 3 meters in diameter. The ball circled, vanished, then reappeared minutes later and hovered. The children claimed to have seen a three-eyed alien wearing bronze-colored boots with a disc on the chest and a robot exiting the object. According to the children, the alien used a ray gun to make a 16-year-old boy disappear until the object departed. Though the children were the only ones claiming to have witnessed the aliens, Lieutenant Sergei Mateyev of Voronezh District Police Station claimed to have seen a body flying in the sky. The Interior Ministry said they would dispatch troops to the area should the object reappear. On October 9, 1989, TASS reported that a correspondent had spoken to 10 to 12 youths who claimed to have seen a flying saucer. The original article quoted Dr. Solenov of the Voronezh Geophysical Laboratory as confirming the location and the landing using biolocation, according to Paul Kurtz. The method of biolocation they used was a form of ESP dowsing, whose effectiveness most Westerners question. The report was the most publicized of a series of UFO claims made by the government media and were promoted as part of the government's new openness. It was noted that, unlike in America, they reported beings were completely apolitical and did not even speak during their visit. In the immediate aftermath of the alleged incident, hundreds of UFO reports began appearing, with a reporter from Komsomolskaya Pravda even claiming to have an exclusive interview with the alien beings from Red Star. In addition to TASS, Sovietskaya Kultura, a Communist Party paper, publicized the children's claims, with the communist newspaper defending its decision, saying its coverage was motivated by the golden rule of journalism. The reader must know everything. The newspaper was repeatedly asked whether the report was in jest or repeatedly assured it was not. Following the initial publicity, a private company was formed to sell tours of Varenzeha, billed as Land of Aliens, for 59 rubles, $95 per person. The description of the incident was very similar to the stories that appeared in the American magazine's saga, but TASS reporters stated that the witnesses probably haven't read it. Outside of print media, the U.S. shows A Current Affair also sent a crew to report on the alleged event. UFOologists. A. Kozovakin, a UFOologist, told Socialist Industry he thought a 26-foot wide patch of scorched ground near the South Moscow was caused by UFO landing. However, TASS reports said firefighters considered the scorched ground could have been caused simply by a haystack which was caused to ignite. Response: the Soviet Scientific Commission ordered an inquiry into the alleged incident, according to Paul Kurtz, writing in a 1990 volume of Skeptical Inquirer. The scientists in the Soviet Union was who held studied the evidence, including members of the Varen Esha amateur section for the study of abnormal phenomena, who visited the site a week after the alleged event and used a form of ESP dowsing regarding claims made in initial TASS reports of extraterrestrial rock found at the site. Genrikha Silanov of the Varen Hesha geophysical lab later stated it was a form of hematite commonly found in the Soviet Union, and told Socialist Industry, I don't believe all you hear from TASS. We never gave them part of what they published. Through the area was found to have an above average presence of radioactive isotope cesium, vice reactor of the University of Voronezh. Igor Sarozhev stated it was insignificant, saying that the presence of a larger than normal quantity of the radioactive isotope cesium in the area of the alleged sighting did not constitute proof of a landing, noting that after Chernobyl, this kind of phenomenon has been found in many areas. Cutts noted a French press agency reported of October 28 stated there exists no verifiable proof of landing by aliens in Voronezh. 16 radiometric analyses, 19 checks of the underground, 9 tests for microorganisms, and 20 spectrochemical measurements failed to uncover any anomaly either in the earth or surrounding vegetation. Kurtz reported that the Soviet ending news correspondent Vladimir Pusner sent a film crew to Varenhesha, but they could not find no other witnesses except the children. Posnier to suggest that the creative imagination of the young children was perhaps at work. If so, this is not unlike many of the UFO cases in the United States. Regarding the wave of paranormal and UFO claims issuing from the Soviet Union in the 1980s and 1990s, such of those from Varen Hesha, Kurtz cited a Time magazine October 23, 1989 issue that the quotes a disillusioned Soviet party member who said they've been feeding us rubbish about the dreams of communism for years and view the state sponsorship as psychic and UFO claims as a new opiate of the masses. But just like with the aliens, the communists had this false perspective here is that, you know, like they thought religion was the opiate of the masses and that they thought like religion was invented by the elites and the establishments to keep the workers poor and divided and a way to control the people and to give people like a comfort, which religion does give comfort to people. And that it's like an opiate, it's like a type of painkiller for people. And also what this thing does is that, like, say, the aliens is another opium of the masses. But the elephant in the room is that communism could be seen as the opium of the masses too. It could be seen as like the fentanyl of the masses. That's what it could be seen as. And so, and religion can be used by establishments and, you know, elites for nefarious purposes, and it has. But the thing is, though, that God is actually real. That's the thing. It is real. And, or if people don't believe in God, there's some sort of spirituality. There's something there. Some spirituality. There's something supernatural for those that may not believe in God. There's something there. Something somewhere. And also, making this clear, is that you have the... So that's the explanation of the opiate of the masses, and they were saying simply that the opiate of the masses is this alien thing. Now, people think that Karl Marx may have been misinterpreted, and that he said that religion is the opium. Hello, Greg, a friendly, familiar face. I'm glad he came to stop by and tell us hello. I'm talking about an alien sighting that happened in Russia, and these kids saw this thing in the sky, and they were talking to it but didn't say anything. And the communist newspaper released information about it. So basically, with the communist newspaper, they were saying that the alien stuff was about the opium of the masses. So in communism, they say religion is the opium of the masses. And also, in this situation, you have the opium of the masses, and but the thing is that God is, you know, is real. And also, if people don't believe in God, if people are atheistic, they don't believe in God, that's okay. But I believe there's some sort of spirituality there. But originally, religion was thought by the communists to be used as a tool to keep the workers divided and to keep everybody, you know, indentured, and that it was used as a tool to give people a false hope when their real hope was revolution. But the thing is that God is actually real, and it can be used for something nefarious, especially religious institutions. But this is not, you know, they got it a little bit wrong. They had a right idea in mind, but they didn't realize that it wasn't a conspiracy theory. That, you know, like you look outside and something's there, somebody or something put that there. And the communists were saying that, yes, Greg, understood. Yeah. that basically the opium of the masses is the aliens. That people believing in aliens is another opium of the masses. But communism could be seen as the fentanyl of the masses. It could be seen as in the same way. And Greg, I appreciate you hitting the like button and being on, participating in the show. Oh, Greg, I did not get through on ABL. Sometimes I don't get through for some reason, but usually I get on. So I don't know what occurred. But I'll be on there next time. But I did try to call in. It happens sometimes. People noticed it this time, but yeah, sometimes I'll call in and I can't get through for whatever reason. I don't know why. But, most of the time he lets me on. Yeah, but as I said, next time, I believe I'll get through and talk to him. Yeah, I was going to give my take on a couple of different things. And I was going to talk about I've been keeping up with the California protests, and I've been watching streamers that were there right in the center of it. So there's this lady, Jessica, and she got accidentally boxed in, and she got detained, but she was part of the media. But we got to see what's going on inside the box that the police put the protesters in, and they released them, and she was on the news. So yeah, it was people with flags everywhere. And the Mexican flags, they're blocking traffic. They have a right to protest. That is their right. But they don't have a right to block traffic. Yeah, busy phones. And ABL is very talented and skilled to be able to get me on at the end, but sometimes it just doesn't, and also he's a very hardworking man, and I don't know, he does his best. But I'll get back on there. And also with the drones, I think that, as I said, they were FAA approved. I said that already. What the press secretary said. Also with the drones, that they're trying to find some nuclear device, but they're not directly saying it. Yeah, and just basically elaborating on California, how pitiful it is, and it's really triggering to see all this drama unfold with that group over there protesting and causing all this problems, and people just have to show more compassion to each other. And Greg, I am glad. Good night to you, sir, and I'm so honored you like my call and ABL show. Appreciate you very much. Yeah, peace. This is an example of this sighting that happened. That's the alien that they were seeing. Scared. Scared. Yeah, and yeah, that incident. It sounds very crazy, and I'm glad that it was brought up to my attention. All right, now let's go to this other one. All right. As I said, tomorrow I'll talk more about this, but I'll give you an overview about Sepro. I'm gonna read a part of it and read the rest tomorrow for everybody. Hello, Shelly. Good to see you. I'm glad you're able to make it, Shelly. I saw your comment about my beautiful cat. His name is Tweetzel, and also I'm glad you're able to make it for the stream. All right. I was talking about a UFO incident that happened in Russia. Some kids saw a UFO in the sky, and they saw an alien, and some aliens appeared to them, and it was quite scary for the kids. And the Soviet media published it because they believed it was proper journalism, and also some of the communists were saying that the aliens are the opium of the masses. That's what the communists said about religion, but they didn't understand that religion is real, and they don't understand that aliens are actually real. It's like, yeah, there could be religion being used by institutions for oppression, that cause the working people to be under scrutiny, and to give them a false sense of hope when their true hope will be revolution. But why not have both? They could have religion and revolution at the same time. You can mix up both of them. So we understand that people may disagree with me. There may be some atheists. That's okay. I'm just speaking a bunch of nonsense. But it's like you see a tree. It didn't just appear there. It's something put it there. And people that are not believe in Jesus or believe in the Abrahamic religions, there's some sort of spirituality. There's vibes. There's karma. There's their tarot cards and their Ouija boards. There's something behind the scenes somewhere. So we could all agree there's something around in some realm that we cannot see at the moment. So that I was talking about that briefly. Some things about the law and crime stuff. There's some cool trials going on, and I'm keeping up with the chats over there. And also, I'll read you all briefly about Planet Sepro and talk about it tomorrow as well in the earlier stream for that group. Project Sepro is an alleged top secret exchange program between the United States government and an alien planet called Sepro and Zeta Reticuli. The star system details of the alleged exchange program have appeared in several UFO conspiracy stories, including one incident in 1983 in which a man identifying himself as United States Air Force Sergeant Richard C. Doughty contacted investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe, claiming to be able to supply her Air Force records of the exchange for her HBO documentary, The ET Factor, only to pull out without providing any evidence to substantiate his story. In one incident in 2005, when a series of emails were sent to UFO discussion group by Victor Martinez claiming that the project was real, some variations of the conspiracy story state that the name Sepro is a nickname for extrasolar planet. Other versions of the story state the mispronunciation of either Serponia or CNU by another involved on the project. An exoplanet is a planet outside the solar system. The first possible evidence of the exoplanet was noted in 1917, but then recognized as such for direction of extent in 1992. The first mention of Project Sepro was a UFO email list maintained by enthusiast Victor Martinez Various versions of the conspiracy theory circulated and were later detailed on a website. According to the most common version of the story, an alien survived a crash near Roswell. In the latter 1940s Roswell UFO incident, this alien was detained but treated well by American military forces, contacted its home planet, and eventually repatriated. The story continues by claiming that this led to the establishment of some sort of relationship between American government and the people of its home world, said to be a planet of the binary star system Zeta Reticuli. Zeta Reticuli has a history in UFOlogy, including the Betty and Barney Hill abduction and Bob Lazar story, having been claimed as the home system of the alien race called the Greys. The story finally claims that 12 American military personnel visited the planet between 1965 and 1978, and that all party. I want us to be clear that tomorrow I'll be reviewing this exact same topic for the people on the evening stream on Friday evening to see the that weren't able to see this live with us. In 1978, and all the party have since been unalive, have passed away from after effects of high radiation levels from two suns. Another version of the story claims that the 8 team members returned on the 7th month trek home. Team members 308 pilot number 2 died of pulmonary embolism en route to Sepro on the 9th month journey. 11 arrived safely. 1 died on the planet, and both of the bodies were returned to Earth, while 2 others decided to remain on alien homeworld of Sepro. One criticism of Project Sepro stems from the lack of veracity of one of its alleged witnesses. Sergeant Richard Doughty. Doughty has been involved in other alleged UFO related activities. See Majestic 12 and Paul Benowitz, and thus its directed source. I'm thinking of something hilarious. I'm sorry. My mind thinks of 2 different things at once. I'm an alien. And thus is discredited source or a purposeful provider of disinformation. Additionally, there is no physical evidence supporting the project's existence, according to Tim Swartz of Mysteries magazine. Dottie, who promised evidence of Moulton Howe before backing out, has been involved in circulating several other UFO conspiracy stories. Swartz also expressed that the details of Project Sepro have varied considerably with different accounts. It has been alleged that the entire series of posts were designed to be viral marketing for a new book by Doughty. The headphones cut out a little bit. All right, I'll fill you in on it. Well, let's go back. Scared. Scared. Sarah says, sorry, back headphones cut out a bit. How did they go on the alien craft? Doi. Shelly wants to know, and look, remember, Sarah, I'm going to answer your question. Question. I'm going to answer your question. All right, but I got to say this. Shelly says, is this Planet X Nibiru? Shelly, this is not Nibiru. Allegedly, it could be Nibiru. It could very well be Nibiru. I think it may be, but this is supposed to be a planet in Zeta Reticuli, and it's the same galaxy. It's the same galaxy where the Greys are. All right, I'll read that part. According to Tim Schwartz of Mystery Magazine, Doughty, who promised evidence to Moulton Howie before backing out, has been involved in circulating several other UFO conspiracy theories. Schwartz also expressed the details of Project Sepro, having viewed considerably with different accounts. All right, so Sarah, I'll explain. So basically, what happened was with Sepro, they went on a UFO from Earth to a bigger spaceship, a very big spaceship, and it took them 8 months to get to Sepro. I hope that answers your question. If you have any more questions, let me know. Yeah. Scared. All right. Yeah. I'll read this part again, Sarah, so you can understand it. All right. Project Sepro is an alleged top secret exchange program between the United States government and an alien planet called Sepro in Zeta Reticuli star system. Right, exactly, Shelley. Right. Like, was the planet closer? Did they have a technology that was this advanced? I think that's a very interesting missing link. And Planet 10, Nibiru, is supposed to be a very hot planet, so it possibly could be that. And this paragraph has something very interesting in it that I'll point out. Project Sepro is an alleged top secret exchange program between. Okay, Eugene, good night. Project Sepro is an alleged top secret exchange program between the United States government and an alien planet called Sepro in Zeta Reticuli. In the Zeta Reticuli star system, details of the alleged exchange program have appeared in several UFO conspiracy stories, including one incident in 1983, which a man identifying himself as the United States Air Force Sergeant Richard C. Doughty contacted investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howie. Linda Moulton Howie, correct. Claiming to be able to supply her Air Force records of the exchange of her HBO documentary, The E.T. Factor, only to pull out without providing any evidence to substantiate his story. In one incident in 2005, when a series of emails were sent to a UFO discussion group run by Victor Martinez, claiming that the project was real. Some variations of the conspiracy story state that the name Serpo is the nickname of extrasolar planet. The other versions state that it is a mispronunciation of either Serponia or Sienu by the authorities involved in the project. And you have, okay, it sounds something very interesting here. Some variations on the conspiracy story state that the name Serpo is a nickname of the extrasolar planet. And let's look up what the extrasolar planet is. Correct. More like Jacob's ladder. Very good point. An exoplanet or extra solar system planet is a planet outside the solar system. The first possible evidence of an exoplanet was noted in 1917 but was not then recognized as such. The first confirmed dedication of an exoplanet was in 1992 around a pulsar. That the first detection around a main sequence star was in 1995. A different planet was detected in 1988. Was confirmed in 2003. As of 24 January 2025, there are 5,830 confirmed exoplanets, 4,354 planetary systems. That's a lot. Wow. With 976 systems having more than one planet. In collaboration with the ground based and other space based observatories with the James Webb Space Telescope, is expected to give more insight into the exoplanet traits such as the composition, environment conditions, and potential for life. Sarah says, yeah, she has quite the extensive list of aliens and UFO info. All right. But the Bible is more like Jacob's ladder. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I feel this reminds me of Planet Nibiru, this thing, but I have to really, like, we're learning together here. As I'm still trying to figure out what this is. It's like, I thought it had it all mapped out, but I guess I didn't. And it's like there's this game called Circling, and I don't know how because it's like I don't know exactly about this thing, but I'm way too old to back down. So I'm going to learn about this and we'll learn this together. There are many methods of detecting exoplanets: transit photometry and Doppler spectroscopy have found the most, but these methods suffer from a clear observational bias favoring the detection of planets near the star. Thus, 85% of the exoplanets detected are inside the tidal locking zone. In several cases, multiple planets have been observed around the star. About 1 in 5 sun like stars are estimated to have Earth sized planets in the habitable zone. Assuming there are 200 billion stars in the Milky Way, it can be hypothesized that there are 11 billion potentially habitable Earth sized planets in the Milky Way, rising to 40 billion of planets orbiting the numerous red dwarfs are included. The least massive exoplanet was known as Druger, is also known as PSR B1257 plus 12A or PSR B1257 plus 12B. Shelley says unless space is like us and portals are a dimensional opening, both could exist. I agree with that. I don't think it's contradicting for both those things to exist at the same time. Which is about twice the mass of the moon, the most massive exoplanet listed on NASA's exoplanet archive is HR 2562b, about 30 times the mass of Jupiter. However, according to some definitions of a planet, based on nuclear fusion of deuterium, it is too massive to be a planet. It might be a brown dwarf. Known orbital times for exoplanets vary from less than an hour for those closest to their star to thousands of years. Some exoplanets are so far away from the star it is difficult to tell whether they are gravitationally bound to it. Almost all planets detected so far are within the Milky Way. However, there is evidence that extragalactic planets, exoplanets located in other galaxies may exist. The nearest exoplanets are located 4.2 light years from Earth and orbit Proxima Centauri, the closest star to the Sun. Shelley says, I haven't seen Flatland. Thinks I'll check it out. I'm still working on Interstellar. I love Interstellar. That movie's amazing. And I love the soundtrack. Thank you, Sarah, for the suggestion. You're always an amazing mod in chat. Almost all planets detected so far are within the Milky Way. However, there is evidence that extragalactic planets, exoplanets located in other galaxies, may exist. The nearest exoplanets are located 4.2 light years from Earth in orbit Proxima Centauri are the closest to the Sun. The discovery of the exoplanets has intensified interest in the search of extraterrestrial life. There is a special interest in the planet that orbit in a star's habitable zone, sometimes called the Goldilocks zone, where it is possible for liquid water, a prerequisite for life as we know it, to exist on the surface. However, the study of planetary habitability also considers a wide range of other factors in determining the suitability of a planet for hosting life. Y'all will know at some point what I'm thinking about. Rogue planets are those that are not planetary systems. Such objects are generally considered in a separate category from planets, especially if they are gas giants. Often counted as sub brown dwarfs in the rogue planets in the Milky Way, possibly number in the billions or more. IAU, the official definition of the term planet used by the International Astronautical Union. Thank you, Sarah. Only covers the solar system and thus does not apply to the exoplanets. The IAU working group on the exosolar planets used a position statement containing a working definition of a planet in 2001, and which was modified in 2003. An exoplanet was defined by the following criteria. I will, Sarah. I'll check into it, and I agree it's like Nibiru. Objects with the true masses below the limiting mass of the thermonuclear fusion of deuterium, currently calculated to be 13 Jupiter masses for objects of the solar metallicity that orbit stars or stellar remnants are planets no matter how they are formed. The medium mass size requires for an exosolar object to be considered a planet should be the same as they used in the solar system. Substellar objects with true masses above the limiting masses for thermonuclear fusion of deuterium are brown dwarfs, no matter how they are formed or where they are located. Free floating objects and the young star clusters with masses below the limiting mass for the thermonuclear fusion of deuterium are not planets but are sub brown dwarfs, or whatever name is most appropriate. This working definition was amended by the IAU's Commission F2 exoplanets in the solar system in 2018. The official working definition of an exoplanet is now as follows: the objects with true masses below the limiting masses of the thermonuclear fusion. Deuterium calculated 13 Jupiter masses object metallically that orbit stars. So it's like, as I said, it's a lot of like scientific interstellar type information. But, this type of planet reminds me of Nibiru for some reason. And also Sepro, although they said it was in Zeta Reticuli, that reminds me of Nibiru. Alternatives. The IAU's working definition is not always used. One alternate suggestion is that planets should be distinguished from brown dwarfs on the basis of their formation. It is widely thought that the giant planets from through the core excitation, which may sometimes produce the planets with masses above the deuterium fusion threshold. Massive planets of that sort may have already been observed. Brown dwarfs from form like stars from a direct gravitational collapse of clouds of gas, and this formation mechanisms also produces objects that are below 13 m joule limit and can also be low as 1 m joule. Objects in the mass range that orbit their stars with wide separations of hundreds or thousands of astronomical units and have large star object mass ratios like formed as the brown dwarfs. Their atmospheres would likely have a composition more similar to their host star than exertion formed planets, which orbits so probably represent the low mass end of the brown dwarf formation. One study suggests that objects from 10 MGUP formed through gravitational instability and should not be thought of as planets. Also, the 12 Jupiter mass. Now, Nibiru is supposed to be a very large planet, a very, very, very gargantuan planet. So it seems that this could be describing a Nibiru type planet. I don't know. Also, the 13 mass cutoff does not have precise physical significance. Deuterium fusion can occur in some objects with mass below that cutoff. The amount of deuterium fused depends to some extent on the composition of the object. As of 2011, the extrasolar planet encyclopedia include objects up to 25 Jupiter masses, saying the fact that there is no special feature around 13 m GUP and the observed mass spectrum reinforces the choice to forget this mass limit. As of 2016, this limit was increased to 60 Jupiter masses based on a study of mass density relationships. The exoplanet data explorer includes the objects up to Jupiter masses with the advisory. The 13 Jupiter mass distinction by the IAU working group is physically motivated for planets with rocky cores and observationally problematic due to the Sin-I ambiguity. NASA Exoplanet Archive includes objects with a mass of minimum mass equal or less than 30 Jupiter masses. Another citation for separating planets and brown dwarfs rather than deuterium fusion formation. Process or location is whether the core pressure is dominated by Coulomb pressure or electron degeneracy pressure with the dividing line at around 5 Jupiter masses. Nomenclature. The convention of naming exoplanets is an extension of the system used for designating multiple star systems as adapted by International Astronomical Union for exoplanets. Sarah says 60 insane. If gravity is what they say, how is it that wrapping the area of the solar system, space and time? I know. Exactly. There seems to be more questions than answers. It seems much more potent than they ever imagined. And there's just something else here that they're not completely disclosing to us. They're hiding something. For instance, for exoplanets orbiting a single star. Alan, good to see you, buddy. I'm glad that you came. Shout out to you, Alan. For exoplanets orbiting a single star, the IAU designation is formed by taking the designated or proper name of its parent star and adding a lowercase letter. Letters are given in order of each planet's discovery around the parent star, so that the first planet discovered in a system is designed B. The parent star is considered A. The latter planets are given a subsequent letters. If several planets in the same solar system are discovered at the same time, the closest one of the star gets the next letter, followed by the other planets in the order of orbital size. The provisional IAU sanctionized standard exists to accommodate the designation of circumbinary planets. A limit exoplanets have IAU sanctioned proper names. Other naming systems exist. Yellow. Yeah, alien. All right, so this is another view of this other planet thing. It's like, you want to know something crazy? It's like they can find these planets way out in Timbuktu, but they cannot find Nibiru. Quotations. Y'all want to see something crazy here? Here you go. You're gonna have a crazy day. Scared. Scared. Watch this, everybody. I want everybody to look very closely. NASA finds thousands of planets, but no Planet X. But guess what? Look at this. Once you... They say that this is a cataclysmic binary star. And it's not Nibiru. But look at this very closely. Look very closely. They always say that Nibiru was never found. But guess what? They always show this as the picture of Nibiru. Understood, Alan. I think the Earth is round, personally, but I'll be interested to know your. If you're being serious, I'd be interested to know your take on that. Then they also agree that the Earth is flat as well. I think the Earth is round, but feel free to say your opinions about it. That's fine. But yeah, aliens point. Nice, nice. All right, so you see that this planet is this thing right here. They say that Nibiru doesn't exist, but they always show this as an example of what Nibiru might look like. But what if that is actually Nibiru and they're just not telling us that they found it? And guess what? It's portrayed as a brown dwarf just a moment ago. I hear this. They said Nibiru is like a brown dwarf. And we're just talking about brown dwarfs right here. Isn't that something, Sarah? I found a link while we were on the live stream with me. Wow. Nibiru is a brown dwarf, and we're just talking about that. Wow. That's crazy. And you see our planet compared to all the other planets. And also, it's just that there's a lot of pictures and images of the Earth being round and stuff, and I just don't know if they're all fake. And like when I look at the sky, I see it looks like a dome. It looks like a globular dome. And I'm closer to the center. I'm closer to where the line is, or the equator is. And it's just if it was a plane, it would look more flat, but it looks like a globe. That's what it looks like when I look at the sky and the horizon and all. And I just the way with plane travel. Now, of course, allegedly, there's a way to prove this through plane travel, and I'm not as familiar with the flat Earth theory. And Alan, thank you. He says we don't live on a planet; we live in a plane, a realm. Understood. As I said, I don't know all the answers, but as I said, I just from my own observation and the images that have been released, and I'll also say this: that when I see the stars and planets in a night sky, they all look like globular circles, and they don't look like flat Earth things. They look like globular fireballs. So, and I think that our planet would be a similar thing. And he said it's like a dome. It's called a firmament. Firmament. Thank you, Alan. I understand your point, and I just think that it would look more, if it was flat or like what you're talking about, it would look just to me when I look at it, it just seems like the Earth is like a globe because anywhere you would go on Earth, it would be like a globular structure, no matter where you would go on it. And I see like the light as it travels around the globe. It just to me seems like what they're saying how it's a globe. But I appreciate this dialogue, and I am absorbing the information that you're giving, and provide as much information about the theory of the flat Earth as you'd like. But as I said, I think it's a globe, in my opinion. But I could be wrong though. And Sarah says yes. Just going to say the dots connecting. Yes, I believe that with the this being a dwarf planet and the other things being a we were just talking about dwarf planets that it's the dots connecting and also through extensive research. But as I said, when the answer is right in your face right here, that's Nibiru right there. They're just not saying it's Nibiru for some reason. All right. We'll continue to talk about this planet right here. Okay. This planet theory stuff. Okay. For exoplanets orbiting a single star, the IAU designation is formed by taking the designated or proper name of its parent star and adding a lowercase letter. The letters are given in order of each planet's discovery around the planet star, so that the first planet discovered in a system designed B, the planet star, is considered A, and latter planets are given subsequent letters if several planets in the same system are discovered at the same time. The closest one of the star next letter of the followed by the other planets. In order to orbital size, a provisional IAU Sanctions standard exists to accommodate the designation of Kerr binary planets. Alan, you're doing nothing wrong. You're talking about the theme. You're talking about the theme. We're talking about planets here. You could talk about the flat Earth theory. It's okay. And I'd like to know more about it. Just like with Planet 10, they told my friend and I that it wasn't real, but it came out later that it's real. So y'all may be right about the flat Earth theory. It's possible. So I'm not going to be harsh on y'all, and y'all have a right to talk about any conspiracy theory you want. This channel is about talking about different conspiracy theories, no matter how much I disagree with them. And I'm open to a different opinion. It's okay. If I'm wrong or proven wrong about something, I'll own up to it. It's not a problem. And I want to know. I want to know more about it. Even if I refute what you're saying, it doesn't mean you're wrong. All right. That's an interesting character right there. Nice. Exists to accommodate the designation of circumbinary planets. A limited number of exoplanets have IAU sanctioned proper names. The other naming systems exist. History of detection. For centuries, scientists and philosophers and science fiction writers suspected that exosolar planets exist existed, but there was no way of knowing whether they were real, in fact, how common they were, or how similar they might be to the planets of the solar system. Various detection claims made in the 19th century were rejected by astronomers. Another thing that I want to explain to all of you is that if we were on a flat Earth or in some sort of controlled environment, that would be another explanation about why how God can do all these things in an instant, like we're in some sort of a matrix or something, and it could have been designed a specific way. It's possible, and or there could be the truth in between somewhere. So, as I said, I mean, maybe they don't want people to know the truth about certain information, and they want people to be stuck in their pattern. So that is an idea. Maybe we're continuously moving around. Maybe there are things just like with Nibiru that they're not telling us. So as this I learned from law stuff. I looked at law school lectures on YouTube. I'm not comparing myself ever to an actual attorney, And also, I watch a lot of Law and Crime, and you have to learn to defend a position that you disagree with. And so I am not necessarily disagreeing, and I'm open because I could be wrong. So I'm even defending y'all's position on the flat Earth theory to show that I'm open. It's okay. You can talk about it as much as you want. I'm open to. Don't be shy. It's all good. Marcos had an idea of a floating Earth spaceship that had a dome. Interesting idea. Understood, Sarah. Probably will get mostly the mecha it transforms into an idol chick. Okay, Sarah, thank you for the information. All right. So, and also there's different late levels of heaven. Also, Sarah, I want to let you know that I got your email about the daikon, and I'm glad that you liked the garden I put up. I want to let you know that I appreciate your email, and I'll respond to it. And I'm glad that you like the AI horror story I put up. Thank you. The first evidence of a possible exoplanet orbiting von Mainen 2 was noted in 1917 but was not organized as such. The astronomer Walter Sidney Adams, who later became director of the Mount Wilson Observatory, produced a spectrum of the star using Mount Wilson's 60-inch telescope. He interpreted the spectrum of the F type main sequence star, but it's now thought that such a spectrum could be caused by the residue of the nearby exoplanet that had been pulverized by the gravity of the star and resulting dust then falling onto the star. Sarah says, back to topics. Alan said, isn't Nibiru where the Anunnaki are supposed to be from? Alan, I've heard of that. Yes. I don't know. I okay. That is true. The Anunnaki are allegedly from Nibiru. Yes, you are correct. I just have not dug very deep into it. But like Anunnaki, the one, he was telling me about Nibiru from Babylonian mythology. It was one of their gods. So yeah. And real quick, we'll look this up to see some link to it. But yes, Alan, you are correct about that. You are correct. You are correct, Alan. They are from Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are from Nibiru. Nibiru, who that was one of the names of one of the gods. Yes, you're correct. That's what he told me in the very beginning. He told me that a long time ago, my friend. Yes, you're correct. Back to topics. Alan, hope we do discuss on it with you present. Alien, exactly. Our physical property has been changed. Sorry, YouTube won't let me comment. You're welcome for continuing it. And Sarah, I don't know why on the shorts you can't comment on it. I'm not too certain. The first suspected scientific detection of an exoplanet occurred in 1988. Shortly afterwards, the first confirmation of detection came in 1992 with Alexander Walzan announced the discovery of the several terrestrial mass planets orbiting Pulsar PSR and B1257 plus 12. The first confirmation of the exoplanet orbiting the main sequence star was made in 1995 when a giant planet was found in 4 days orbiting around the nearby star 51 Pegasi. Some exoplanets have been imagined directly by telescopes, but the vast majority have been detected through indirect methods, such as transit method and radial velocity method. In February 2018, researchers using the Chandra X-ray Observatory, combined with a planet detection technique called micro microlensing, found evidence of planets in a distant galaxy, stating some of these exoplanets are as relatively small as the moon, while others are as massive as Jupiter. Unlike Earth, most of the exoplanets are not tightly bound to stars, so they're actually wandering through space or loosely orbiting between stars. We can estimate the number of planets in the faraway galaxy is more than a trillion. I'll put it in layman's terms for you. For everybody. Planets, an exoplanet is a planet that orbits around other stars, are called exoplanets. All the planets in our solar system orbit around the sun. Planets that orbit around other stars are called exoplanets. Exoplanets are very hard to see directly with telescopes. They are hidden by the bright glare of the stars they orbit. You Googled it. Well, I gave you a double explanation. In the 16th century, the Italian philosopher Giordano Bruno, an early supporter of the Copernican theory that the Earth and other planets orbit the Sun, heliocentrism, put forward the view that fixed stars are similar to the Sun and are likewise accompanied by planets. In 18th century, the same possibility was mentioned by Isaac Newton. In the general scholium that concludes his Principia, making a comparison to the sun's planet, he wrote, and if the fixed stars are in the centers of the similar systems, they will all be constructed according to a similar design and subject to the domination of one. Alan says planets used to be called wandering stars. I didn't know that. Thank you. In 1938, D. Belorusky demonstrated that it was realistic to search in exojupiters using transit photometry. In 1952, more than 40 years before the first hot Jupiter was discovered, Otto Struve wrote that there is no compelling reason that planets could not be much closer to their parent star than is the case in the solar system, and proposed that Doppler spectroscopy and transit method could detect superjupiters in the short orbits. Discredited claims. Claims of exoplanet detections have been made since the 19th century. Some of the earliest involved the binary star 70 OP Hoochie. In 1855, William Stephen Jacob at the East India Company's Madras Observatory reported that the orbital anomalies made it highly probable that there was a planetary body in the system. In the 1890s, Thomas JJC of the University of Chicago in the United States Naval Observatory stated that the orbital anomalies provided existence of a dark body of in the 70 OP Hoochie system with 36 period around one of the stars. However, Forrest Ray Moulton published a paper proving that a three-body system with those orbital parameters would be highly unstable. During the 1950s and 60s, Peter von de Kamp of Swarthmore College made another prominent series of detection claims, this time for planets orbiting Barnard's star. Astronomers now generally regard all the reports of detection as erroneous. In 1991, Andrew Lynn and Bellies and S.L. Shermar claimed to have discovered a pulsar planet in orbit around PSR 182910 using pulsar timing variations. The claim briefly received intense addition, but Lean also had his team soon reacted to it. In 1991, Andrew Lynn and Bayliss and S.O. Shimar claimed to have discovered a pulsar planet in the orbit. Confirmed discoveries. Another thing about Nibiru, that a theory about it is that it's a planet in another solar system that has an eccentric orbit that orbits through our galaxy, through our solar system. And also with Nibiru, it's theorized that it was part of another solar system, but it somehow got sucked into our solar system during the creation of the universe. Confirmed discoveries. As of 26 January 2024, a total of 5,830 confirmed exoplanets are listed in the NASA Exoplanet Archive, including a few that were confirmed of controversial claims from the late 1980s. The first published discovery to receive the subsequent confirmation was made in 1988 by Canadian astronomers Bruce Campbell, G. H. Walker, and Stephen Yang of the University of Victoria and University of British Columbia, although they were cautious about claiming a planetary detection. Their radial velocity observations suggested that the planet orbits the star Gamma Cephei partially because of the observations were at the very limits of the instrumental capabilities at the time. Astronomers remained skeptical for several years about this and other similar observations. It was thought some of the apparent planets might instead have been brown dwarfs, objects intermit in mass between planets and stars. In 1990, additional observations were published that supported the existence of the planet orbiting Gamma Cephei, but the subsequent work in 1992 again raised serious doubts. Finally, in 2003, improved techniques allowed the planet's existence to be confirmed. On 9 January 1992, radio astronomers Al Eskazander, Walsh Zizan, and Dale Frail Allen said NASA, not a single answer. Also, the NASA logo is a serpent tongue. Look at it. Fantastic, Alan. Fantastic. Hilarious. This discovery was confirmed and is generally considered to be the first definitive detection of exoplanets. Follow up observations solidified these requests and confirmed of a third planet in 1994 revived in the topic popular press. These pulsar planets are thought to have formed from the unusual remnants of the supernova that produced the pulsar in the second round of planet information, or else to be the remaining rocky cores of gas giants that somehow survived the supernova and then decayed into the current orbits as pulsars or aggressive stars. It was considered unlikely at the time that a planet may be able to be formed in their orbit. I didn't know that, Sarah. Thank you for letting us know. Thank you. In the early 1990s, a group of astronomers led by Donald Backer, who were studying what they thought was a binary pulsar, determined that a third object was needed to explain the observed Doppler shifts within a few years. The gravitational effects of the planet on the orbit of the pulsar and white dwarf had been measured, giving an estimate of the mass of the third object that was too small for it to be a star. The conclusion that the third object was a planet was announced by Stephen Thorsett and collaborators in 1993. On 6 October 1995, Michael Mayer and Didier Culovlos of the University of Geneva announced the first definitive detection of an exoplanet orbiting a main sequence star nearby G-type star 51 Pegasi. This discovery made the Observatoire de Haute Province ushered the modern era of explanatory discovery and was recognized by a share of 2019 Nobel Peace Prize physicians. Thank you, Alan. Good night to you. Or, yeah. Or whatever you're going to do, good luck with that. Peace, Alan. October 1995, Michael Mayer and these people. This discovery made in the modern of era of explanatory discovery, it was recognized by a share of the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize in Physics. Technological advances, most notably in high resolution spectroscopy, led to the rapid detection of many new exoplanets. Astronomers could detect exoplanets indirectly by measuring their gravitational influence on the motion of their host stars. Influence on more extrasolar planets were later detected by observing the variation in a star's apparent luminosity as the orbiting planets transmitted in in front of it. Sarah said sometimes we need a collab group call and have some prepared notes to discuss. Sadly, my time zone messes with me. I'm able though. Sarah, I think you can call in if you wanted to now. You could, and also I am doing the Friday one in the evening. You could do it then if you wanted to, and whenever you want to do it, I'll give you an option like when we're able to do it. But you could do it now if you wanted to. But keep your notes down. We'll have you on the show again. I was watching your call again that you did in the past. I watched it again, and I really enjoyed it. And I listened to it while I was doing some things. So I really look forward to having you back on. Understood, Sarah. Understood. Yeah, oh yeah. You're saying yeah, oh, yeah. And I was listening to your call again, and while I was doing some stuff, it's nice. I like your voice, and it was a good conversation with the chat. And okay, Sarah, understood. Sarah says gravity theories, some pro, some not pro gravity as cause and effect. Okay, understood. Initially, the most known exoplanets were massive planets that orbited very close to their parent stars. Astronomers were surprised by these hot Jupiters because theories of planetary formation had indicated that giant planets should only form at large distances from stars, but eventually more planets of other sorts were found. And it is now clear that hot Jupiters make up minority of exoplanets. In 1999, Ilson Andromeda became the first sequence star known to have multiple planets. Kepler 16 contains the first discovered planets that orbit the binary main system. Yes, Sarah. On 26 February 2014, NASA announced the discovery of 715 newly verified exoplanets around 305 stars by Kepler Space Telescope. These exoplanets were checked using statistical technique called verification by multiplicity. Before these results, the most confirmed planets were gas giants comparable in the size of Jupiter or larger because there were more easily detected. But the Kepler planets are mostly between the size of Neptune and the size of Earth. On 23 July 2015, NASA announced the Kepler 452b, a near Earth sized planet orbiting the habitable zone of G2 type star. Facts, Sarah. On 6 September 2018, NASA discovered an exoplanet about 145 light years away from Earth in the constellation Virgo. This exoplanet, Wolf 503b, is twice the size of Earth and was discovered orbiting a type of star known as an orange dwarf. Wolf 503b completes one of the orbit in a few as 6 days because it is very close to the star. Wolf 503b is the only exoplanet that large that can be found near the so called small planet radius gap. Sometimes called the Fulton Gap, is the observation it is unusual to find the exoplanets with a size between 1.5 and 2 times the radius of Earth. Sarah, that makes sense, and I wonder if the angels were able, the fallen angels, it seems like they were able to colonize other planets, and that they're putting these things in these other planets. That's why they had those giant planets, in my opinion. In January 2020, scientists announced the discovery of the first Earth-sized planet in the habitable zone detected by TESS. Candidate discoveries as January 2020, NASA Kepler and TESS mission had identified 4374 planetary candidates, yet to be confirmed, several of them being nearly Earth size and located in the habitable zone, some around the sun like stars. Direct imaging. Planets are extremely faint compared to their parent stars. For example, a sun-like star is about a billion times brighter than the reflected light from any exoplanet orbiting it. It is difficult to detect such a faint light source, and furthermore, the parent star causes a glare that tends to wash it out. It is necessary to block the light from the parent star to reduce the glare while leaving the light from the planet detectable. Doing so is a major technical change, which requires extreme optimal stability. All exoplanets that have been directly imagined are both large, more massive than Jupiter, widely separated from their parent stars. Designed direct imaging instruments such as Gemini Planet Imager, VL2 Sphere, and SCAO, while image dozens of gas giants, but the vast majority of known exoplanet planets have only been detected through indirect methods. Sarah says, so far and yet the light as we know it is fast magic. Yes, Sarah, it's a lot like magic. I agree. It's like they call it light. It's like a flashlight. It's something, a different type of light than what we have. And I believe it's by the hand of God. Amazing how there are gas planets, diamond planets, etc. Indirect methods. Transit method. If a planet crosses or transit in front of its parent star's disk, then the observed brightness of the star drops by a small amount. The amount by which the star dims depends on the size of the planet, among other factors, because the transit method requires that the planet's orbit intersects a line of sight between the host star and the Earth. The probability that exoplanet in a randomly oriented orbit will be observed to transit the star is somewhat small, and the Kepler telescope used this method. Amen to that, and true on Architect. Transit Aka, hub of planets. Sorry, had to say since Zero not here, say it. AKA Hobo Planets. Shout out to Zero. Peace be upon him. Alright. As a planet orbits a star, the stars also move in its own small orbit around the system's center of mass. Variations in the star's radial velocity, that is speed with which it moves towards or away from Earth, can be detected from displacements in the star's spectral lines due to the Doppler effect. Extremely small radial velocity variations can be observed. Or even somewhat else, transit timing variation. When multiple planets are present, each on the slightly perturbs on the other orbits, small variations in the times of transit for one of the planet can thus be indicated in the presence of another planet in which itself may or may not transit. For example, variations in the transit of the planet Kepler 19b suggests the existence of a second planet in the system, the non transiting Kepler 19c. When a planet orbits multiple stars, or if the planet has moons, or its transit time can significantly vary per transit. Although no new planets or moons have been discovered with the method, it is used to successfully confirm many transiting cum-binary planets. Microlensing occurs when the gravitational field of a star acts like a lens, magnifying the light of a distant background star. Planets orbiting the lensing star can cause detectable anomalies, a magnification as varies over the time. Unlike most of the other methods which have detection bias towards the planets with small or for resolved imaging, large orbits, the microlensing method is a sensitive detecting planets around 1 to 10 AU away from the sun star. Astronomy consists of precisely measuring a star's position in the sky and observing the changes in the position over time. The motion of a star due to the gravitational influences of a planet may be observable because of the motion is so small. However, this method was not very productive until the 2020s. It has produced the only few confirmed discoveries, though it has been successfully used to investigate the properties of the planet found in other ways. A pulsar, a small dense remnant of a star that has exploded as a supernova, emits radio waves regularly as it rotates. If planets orbit the pulsar and the motion of the pulsar around the system center of mass alters the pulsar's distance of Earth over time. As a result, the radio pulses from the pulsar arrive on the Earth at later or earlier time. This light travel delay, due to the pulsar being physically closer to the or farther from the Earth, is known as the Romier time delay. The first confirmed discovery of an exolar planet was made using this method, but as of 2011, it has not been very productive. 5 planets have been detected in a way around 3 pulsars. There are some other types of stars which exhibit periodic activity. Deviations from the periodically can sometimes be caused by a planet orbiting it. As of 2013, a few planets have been discovered with this method. When a planet orbits very close to a star, it catches a considerable amount of starlight. As the planet orbits the star, the amount of due to the planets having phases from the Earth's viewpoint are planets glowing more from one side to another. I did not know it was going out. Wow. Hmm. All right, it's back, Sarah. It's back. It was on my end. I had some windows open. That problem. With the polarimetry method, a polarized light reflected off the planet is separated, unpolarized light emitted from the star. No new planets have been discovered with this method, although already discovered planets have been detected with this method. Disks of space dust surround many stars thought to originate from collisions along asteroids and comets, and the dust can be detected because of its orbit, straight re-emission infiltrated radiation. Features in the disk suggest the presence of planets, though it's not considered a definitive detection method. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the Matrix movie, and then that'll be it. Thank you, Sarah, very much. Sarah, I always appreciate you and the others, and I'm glad that I met you at ABL show. And I like something about ABO with his beard. It kind of reminds me of like Merlin, well, from King Arthur, and he has like the live stream stuff, and it's kind of like magic. So that's an interesting thing to compare it to. And I met a lot of you great people on there, and he may not be perfect. No one's perfect, and he has made some mistakes, but he has done many great things to help people wake up. Amen, Sarah. Amen. Yes. All right. And also, we have here The Matrix is a 1999 science fiction action film written and directed by, and I read this to DJ, and I'm going to read you a summary of it and go through a part that we're talking about before. And then that'll be it for this stream. The Matrix is a 1999 science fiction action film written and directed by the Wachowskis. It is the first installment of the Matrix film series, starring Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie Ann Moss, Hugo Weaving, and Joe Pantoliano. It depicts a dystopian future in which humanity is unknowingly trapped inside the Matrix, a simulated reality created by intelligent machines, believing computer hacker Neo to be the one prophesied to defeat the machines, and Morpheus recruits him into a rebellion against the machines. Sarah said, yeah, when the mirror silver goo, which was reality bending prior older memories. Sarah, I forgot that. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Sarah, there's a new friend we have. His name is Vash. I brought him over from Law and Crime, and he's a very good man. A lot of bad things happened to him, but he was just a good person that bad things happened to. And he always makes us laugh, and he's very good with the chat. Also, what he does is that he was talking to me about, yes, Vash. He was telling me that about Mercury earlier, and he told me that it's the most concerning thing about AI. It was liquid mercury, and it was just like the story you were telling me because I was listening to your call that you had, and it was like mercury, like putting your hand through the glass. It looks like the mercury from the Matrix, and the same thing that you saw. So I believe what you saw had to do with mercury, but some sort of supernatural phenomena that we cannot explain. And he showed me that. So you saw something real that could be explained scientifically because it's a paranormal thing, but we just don't know how to explain it yet. Yes, and he's a science. He's very well rounded with science, and he talks about Einstein and his theories to the chat. And also, he's into Interstellar. Oh yeah, you really need to talk to him. And also, his name, his name is Vash. But you know how when you go to comment somewhere, it shows a different name. His name is Samurai. So he's also interested in Japan. Yes, so he told me, and also mercury can be used in electricity. And also, mercury can be used as in all kinds of different things. So you saw something. You saw something true. I did. I always believed you. Yeah, amen, amen. It's explosive. It's explosive. Scared. And in the video he showed me, the person put their hand inside of it, and with the metallic, you can. There's a thing where you could put a coin on it, and it doesn't go through, and it's like jelly, rubbery. Yes, in Law and Crime. Yes, and Alexa Rose, our friend Alexa Rose, she was saying that, he is just very brilliant, and I'm honored that he would mentor me and teach me these things. And he was saying it has to do with AI. It's the most dangerous thing about AI. And look what you experienced way in the past. So you're experiencing something that had to do with this demonic AI. It's all linked together. It's just now coming out of the woodworks. Yeah, so much to talk about. And he has one of his name, his tag name is Samurai. So he's interested in Japan. I mean, this is amazing. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise be to the Lord. We're going to talk more about the Matrix now. Following the success of Bond 1996, Warner Bros. Gave a go-ahead for The Matrix after Wachowskis sent an edit to the film's opening minutes. Action scenes were influenced by anime and martial arts films, particularly fight choreographs and wire fu techniques from Hong Kong action cinema. Other influencers include Plato's Cave in 1990s Teltnet, hacker communities. The film popularized the terms such as the red pill and popularized a visual effect known as the bullet time, in which a character's heightened perception is represented by allowing the action within a shot to progress in slow motion while the camera appears to move through the scene at normal speed. Now we're going to talk about the plot. Thank you and sharing about him. Emailing later, wonder if I should just voice memo send. Sarah, you could do a voice memo. I miss hearing your amazing voice, but do whatever you feel is best. And also, thanks for sharing to him. I'm glad that I shared you the information about him. And cool of Samurai. Sarah, please pray for him because he's going through a hard time because the trial reminds him of bad things that happened to him when he was betrayed, and he's in a really low he feels very depressed right now. He's very sad, and so pray for him. And I just told him the amazing person he is and how much he helped me. So the Holy Spirit can help him feel better. Thank you, Sarah, so much. In 1999, in an unmanned city, Thomas Anderson, a computer programmer known as Neo in hacking circles, delves into mystery of the Matrix. His search brings him the attention of hacker Trinity, who discloses that Emmatic Morpheus can answer Neo's questions. At his workplace, Neo is pursued by police and agents led by Agent Smith. Morpheus guides Neo's escape by phone, able to somehow remotely observe their movements, but Neo unlimitedly surrenders rather than risk a hazardous getaway. And her name is Trinity. You see, it's one person, but it's a trinity. The agents interrogate Neo about Morpheus, but he refuses to cooperate. In response, Neo's mouth suddenly seals shut, and the agents implant a robotic device in his abdomen. Neo awakens at home, initially dismissing the encounters as a nightmare until Trinity and her allies arrive to extract the impotent tracker and bring Neo to Morpheus, their leader. Morpheus offers Neo a choice: a red pill to uncover the truth about the Matrix, or a blue pill to forget everything and return to his normal life. Opting for the red pill, Neo's reality distorts and he awakens submerged in a metallic pond. No, a mechanical pond with invasive cables running through his body. Neo witnesses countless. Yes, absolutely. Countless inert humans similarly encased and tended to by machines before he is ejected from the facility and rescued by Morpheus aboard the hovercraft, the Nebuchadnezzar, the Chadnezzar. Morpheus reveals that the year is approximately 2199. In the 21st century, humanity lost the war with their artificially intelligent creation, leaving the Earth devastated ruin as Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Morpheus reveals the years approximately 2199. In 21st century, humanity lost a war with their artificially intelligent creations, leaving the Earth a devastated ruin. As a last resort, humans blackened the sky to eliminate machines' access to solar power, and in response, the machines developed farms artificially grown humans to harness their bioelectric energy. The Matrix is a simulated reality based on human civilization as it peaks, designed to keep its subjugated humans oblivious and pacified. The remaining free humans established an underground refuge known as Zion, living a harsh existence on scarce resources. Morpheus and his rebel crew hack into the Matrix to free others and recruit them, manipulating the rules and simulating to gain superhuman physical abilities. Even so, they are outmatched by the overwhelming powerful agents, sentient programs, in projecting the Matrix, and dying in the Matrix caused the death. In real world, Morpheus liberated Neo because he believes him to be the one, a prophesied figure destined to dissimulate the Matrix and liberate humanity. The crew enter the Matrix to seek guidance from the Oracle, the prophetic figure who foretold the existence of the One. She implies that Neo is not the One and warns him of an immediate choice between his life and Morpheus's. The crew are ambushed by agents after being betrayed by Cypher, a resentful crew member who wants to reinserted the Matrix to enjoy its comforts. Conceived of Neo's importance, Morpheus sacrifices himself to confront Smith, only to be overpowered and captured. Meanwhile, Cypher exists the Matrix and the begins forcefully disconnecting the others, killing them. Before Cypher can kill Neo and Trinity, Tank, a subdued crew member, regains consciousness, kills Cypher, and safely extracts the survivors. Smith integrates Morpheus to obtain the access codes of Zion's mainframe, which will allow them to end the human resistance. Determined to rescue Morpheus, Neo re enters the Matrix with they successfully free Morpheus, who escapes the Matrix with Trinity, but Smith intercepts. Neo gains the confidence in his abilities. Neo fights Smith in demonstrating the comparable power and eventually killing him. However, Smith resurrects in a new body and kills Neo. Also, there's a love story in this, by the way, between the two. In the real world, the machine's forces, called Scientials, attack Nebuchadnezzar. By the Neo's body, Trinity confesses her love for him and that Oracle prophesied she would fall in love with the One. The Matrix, Neo revives the newfound ability to perceive and control the Matrix. He effortlessly destroys Smith and exists the Matrix, just as Nebuchadnezzar's electromagnetic pulse disables the ship's power and the Sentials. Sometimes later with the Matrix, Neo communicates with the system, promising to the show enslave the humans a worldwide world of limits and possibilities before flying away. All right. So, all right. Um, all right. So you got Keanu Reeves. You got these other people, and also you have people that were supposed to play the roles. At the time, at the role he would have messed up. So Will Smith was supposed to play it. Nicolas Cage, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Val Kilmer were supposed to play it, but Leonardo DiCaprio didn't want to play it because of Titanic. He was just in. He didn't want to do another role, and also Johnny Depp was did not get the role. Reeves won the role over Johnny Depp, and that's how it worked out for him. Luke 8:17. Movies tell some truth of what is happening. Okay, we'll look it up. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known to come to light. Amen. Right. Ceres is a movie that helped wake up a lot of people. Oh wow, even Val. Yeah. Also, Morpheus was supposed to be played by Gary Oldman, Samuel L. Jackson, and Val Kilmer was suggested for that one, and were considered for that part. Carrie Ann Trinity, a human freed Morpheus, a crew member of the Nebuchadnezzar, and later Neo's romantic interest after reading the script. Janet Jackson was initially approached for the role, but scheduling conflicts prevented her from accepting it. In an interview, she was later referenced in the Matrix intro and outro interludes. And Sandra Bullock was previously approached for the role of Neo and was offered the role of Trinity, but she turned it down. Rosie Perez, Samla Hayek, Jada Corrine Pinkett Smith were there, and Hugo Weaving and Agent Smith were considered for that. Well, that's okay. Development. In 1994, the Watch O Whisks presented the script for the film Assassins to Warner Bros. Pictures. After Lorenzo de Bonaventura presented president of the protection of the company at the time, read the script, he decided to buy rights to it and included two more pictures, Bond, Bound, and Matrix. In contract, the first movie of Wacho Whisks, directed Bond, then became a critical success using this momentum. They later asked to direct The Matrix. Reeves said The Matrix Aviator would have been a different sex than the Zion reality in the early draft of the script, but the studio was not ready for that version. In 1996, the Wachowskis pitched the role of Neo to Will Smith, Smith explained on his YouTube channel that the idea was for him to be Neo while Morpheus was to be played by Val Kilmer. He later explained that he did not quite understand the concept and he turned down to instead to do the Wild Wild West. Yes, yes, that's good. Producer Joel Silver soon joined the project, although the project had the key supporters, including the Silver and D. Bonaventura, to influence the company. The Matrix was still a huge investment for the Warner Bros., which had invested 60 million to create a movie with the prominent actors and difficult special effects. The Washawisks therefore hired the underground comic book artist Geoff Darrow and Steve Skuros to draw a 60-page shot-by-shot storyboard for the entire film. The storyboard eventually earned the studio approval and was dedicated to the film in Australia to make the most of the budget. Soon, The Matrix became a co-production of Warner Bros. And the Village Roadshow Pictures, according to the editor Zach Steinberg on DVD. Auto commentary track the production team sent to an edit of the film's first minutes, featuring Trinity's encounter with police agents to Warner exclusives and secured Warner's total support in the movie from then on. Sad for Will, but great for us. Well, he would have slapped the Matrix in the face. That's what he would have done. He would have told the Matrix to keep his wife's name out of the Matrix mouth. That's what he would have told the Matrix. He would have made it into a comedy show. The Matrix would have been scared. Pre-production. The cast were required to be able to understand to explain the Matrix. French philosopher Jean Simulacria and Simulation was required to reading for the most principal cast and crew in the early 1997. Washa Wisks, the Reeves, and the Simulacaria in Simulation, Kevin Kelly's Out of Control, the New Biological Machines. Social systems in the economic world, and the Dylan Evans idea of on evolutionary psychology, even before they opened up the script, and eventually he was able to explain all the philosophical nonsense involved. Moss commented that she had difficulty with this process. Just his style. He was great in Independence and I, Robot and Legend. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I liked him in Men in Black. That's the one I saw him in. I mean, I saw him in the other ones, but I liked him in Men in Black also because that's what I saw growing up too. I saw those that you're speaking of, but I also saw Men in Black. The directors had long been admirers of Hong Kong action cinema, so they decided to hire Chinese martial arts choreographer and film director Yun Wu Ping to work on the scenes. Carrie Moss was a good actress too. Oh, understood, absolutely understood. To work on the fight scenes, to prepare the wire fu, and actors had to train hard for several months. The Wachowskis first scheduled 4 months for draining beginning in the October 1997. Yoon was optimistic but then began to worry when he realized how unfit the actors were. Yeah, you like Men in Black too, yeah. Yoon let their body style develop and then worked with each actor's strength. He rebuilt on, on Reeves' diligence, Fishburne's resilience, Weaving's precision, and Moss's feminine grace. Young designed Moss's moves to suit her deftness and lightness. Prior to the pre production, Reeves underwent a two-level fusion of his cervical neck spine due to the cord compression from a herniated disc. I was falling over to the shower in the morning. He was still recovering by the time of pre-production, but instead on training So Young and let him practice punches the lighter moves. Revs trained hard and even requested training on the days off. However, the surgery still made him unable to kick for 2 out of 4 months of training. As a result, Reeves did not kick much in the film. Weaving had to undergo hip surgery after he sustained an injury during the training process. Physical training and still needing surgery. Oh, I know. I know. This stuff was nuts. Yeah. Filming. All but a few scenes were filmed at Fox Studios in Sydney, as well as the city itself, although recognizable landmarks were not included to maintain the impression of a generic American city. The filming helped establish a new South Wales as major film production center. Filming began in March 1998 and August 1998. Principal photography took 118 days. Some filming also occurred at Culver Studios. Due to Reeves' neck injury, see above, some of the action scenes had to be rescheduled to wait for his full recovery. As a result, the filming began with scenes that did not require much physical exertion, such as the scene Thomas Anderson's office integration room. of the car ride, which Neo is taken to see Oracle, and locations of these scenes include Martin Place's foundation in Sydney, halfway between it and the adjacent Colonial Building and the Colonial Building itself. During the scene set on a government building rooftop, the team filmed extra footage of Neo dodging bullets. In the case the bullet time process did not work, the bullet time fight scene was filmed on the roof of Mantech Corporation building in Kent Street opposite Sussex Street. Moss performed the shots featuring Trinity at the beginning of the film in all wire stunts herself. The rooftop set that Trinity uses to escape from Agent Brown early in the film was left over from the production of Dark City, which has prompted comments due to the thematic similarities of the films. During the rehearsal of the lobby scene in which Trinity runs on a wall of Moss injured her leg and was ultimately unable to film the shot in one take. She stated that she was under a lot of pressure at the time and devastated when she realized that she would be unable to do it. Fishburne later said that while being in Sydney to shoot the film, he experienced a racist vibe that it felt like America in the 50s. Interesting. The dojo set was built well before the actual filming. During the filming of these action sequences, there was significant physical contact between actors, earning them bruises. Reeves' injury and his insufficient training with wires prior to filming meant was unable to perform the triple kicks satisfactorily and became frustrated with himself, causing the scene to be postponed. The scene was shot successfully a few days later, with Reeves using the three takes. Yoon altered the choreography, choreography and made the actors pull their punches in the last sequence of the scene, creating a training feel. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad that you're learning something. The filmmakers originally planned to shoot the subway scene at an actual subway station, but completely off the fight and related to wire work required shooting the scene on set. The set was built around an existing train storage facility which had real train tracks, filming the scene when Neo slammed Smith into the ceiling. Chad Stahelski, Reeves' stunt double, sustained several injuries, including broken ribs, knees, and dislocated shoulder. Another stuntman was injured by a hydraulic puller during a shot in which Neo was slammed into a booth. The office building in which Smith integrated Morpheus was a large set, and the outset view from inside the building was large. Three-story high Cyclomoria Amera. Cyclorama. Helicopter was a full-scale lightweight mock up suspended by a wire rope, operated a tilting mechanism mounted to the studio roof beams. The helicopter had real minigun side mounted to it. It was set to cycle half its regular 3,000 rounds per minute firing. Ouch. It's ouch, but Ouch. Ouch. To prepare for the scene in which Neo wakes up in a pond, Reeves lost 15 pounds and shaved his whole body to give Neo an emaciated look. The scene to which Neo fell into the sewer system concluded the principal photography. According to the art of the Matrix, at least the filmed scene, a variety of short pieces of action were omitted from the final cut of the film. Sound effects and music. Dane A. Davis was responsible for creating the sound effects of the film. Yes, it is crazy the real helicopter. I agree. Absolutely. Sound effects and the music. Dan A. Davis was responsible for creating the sound effects for the film. The flight scene sound effects, such as whipping sounds of punches, were created using thin metal rods and record theme, then editing the sounds. The sound of the pond containing a human body closing required almost 50 sounds put together. The film score, the Matrix original motion picture score, was composed by Don Davis. He noted that the mirrors appeared frequently in the film. Reflections of blue and red pills are seen in Morpheus's glasses. Neo, captured by agents, is viewed through the rear view mirror of Trinity's motorcycle. Neo observes a broken mirror mending itself. Reflections warp as a spoon is bent to the reflection of a helicopter is visible as it approaches a skyscraper. Davis focused on the theme of reflections when creating his score, alternating between sections of the orchestra and attempting to incorporate the counter piantal ideas. Davis' score combines orchestral and choral and synthesized elements. The balance between these elements varies depending on whether humans or machines are the dominant subject of a given scene. In addition to Davis's score, Matrix music motion picture also features music from such acts as Rammstein, Rob Dungan, Rage Against the Machine, Propellerheads, Ministry, Lunatic, Calm, Defense Monsters, Magnet, and The Prodigy, Rob Zombie, Me Beat, Manifesto, and Marilyn Manson. Production design. In the film, the code that composes the matrix itself is frequently represented as downward flowing green characters. This code uses custom type interface designed Simon Whitley, which includes mirror images, half with kana characters, Western Latin letters, and Arabic numerals. In 2017 interviews in CNET, he attributed the design to his wife, who from Japan added, "I like to tell everybody that the Matrix code is made out of Japanese sushi recipes. The color green reflects the green tint commonly used on early monochrome computer monitors." Lynn Cartwright The visual effects supervisor at Animal Logic supervised the creation of the film's operating opening title sequence, as well as the general look of the Matrix code throughout the film, in collaboration with Lindsay Flea and Justine Marshall. The portrayal resembles the opening credits of the 1995 Japanese cyberpunk film Ghost in the Shell, which had strong influence of the Matrix series. It was also used as a subsequent film on the Matrix series. The code receives the runner-up award in the 1999 Jesse Garson Award in film typography opening credit sequence. Shahudo kanji encode. All right. Matrix production designer Owen Patterson used methods to distinguish the real world and the Matrix in a pervasive way. The productive design team generally placed bias towards the Matrix Code's distinctive green color in the scenes. And I read that. Okay. The Nebuchadnezzar was designed to have patched up look instead of a clean, cold, sterile spaceship. A sterile spaceship, hilarious. Enters interior sets as used on the productions such as Star Trek. Their wires were made visible to show the ship's working internals, and each composition was carefully designed to convey the ship as a marriage between man and machine. For this, the scene when Neo wakes up in the pod connected to the Matrix, the pod was constructed to look dirty, used, and sinister. During the testing of the breathing mechanisms in the pond, the tester suffered hypothermia in under 8 minutes, so the pond had to be heated. Kime Barrett, costume designer, said she defined the characters and their environment by their costume. For example, Reeves' office costume was designed for Thomas Anderson to look uncomfortable, disheveled, and out of place. Barrett sometimes used three types of fabric for each costume, and also to consider the practicality of the acting. The actors needed to perform material art actions in their costume, hang upside down without people seeing their clothing. I was just thinking about JFK's link to the alien thing we're reading, and I see there's a JFK movie reference in here. Wow. Up their clothing and be able to otherwise work while strapped into the harnesses. For Trinity, Barrett experimented with how each fabric absorbed and reflected different types of light, and was eventually able to make Trinity's costume Mercury like and oil slick to suit the character. For their agents, their costume was designed to create a Secret Service undercover look resembling the film JFK in the classic Men in Black. The sunglasses stapled the film's aesthetic were commissioned for the film designer Richard Walker, from sunglasses maker to blind design. The bullet time effect was created for the film. A scene would be computer modeled to the side positioning of the physical camera. The actors provide their performance in a chroma key setup while the cameras were fired in rapid succession with fractions of the second delay between each shot. The result was combined with the CGI backgrounds to create the final effect at 3:03. Thank you, Sarah. Visual effects. As for artistic inspiration for bullet time, I would create Otomo Shirio, who co-wrote and directed Air Akira, which definitely blew me away, along with a director, Michael Gondry. His music videos experimented with different type of technique called the view morphing, and it was just part of the beginning of uncovering the creative approaches toward using still cameras for special effects. Our technique was significantly different between because we built it to move around objects that were themselves in motion, and we were also able to create slow motion events that visual cameras could move around rather than static action in Grodai's music video with limited camera moves. The film is known for popularizing a visual effect. Kathy Smith. What a wonderful surprise. Good morning, Kathy. Good to see you. Yeah, Sarah, Sarah is back, and it's the first time, I believe, probably, where Kathy Smith and Sarah are seeing each other again. It's been a while. So, Kathy Smith, I was talking about some some alien theories about Planet Serpo. I'm sounding like a sheep. Planet Serpo, where they had this alien. They did a mission where they went to an alien planet and they lived there for 13 years. And also, I'm talking about the Matrix movie right now. We talked about some planet stuff earlier. And also the one of the aliens got like this, one of the people on the mission allegedly was passed away or something, and the aliens were using his body for an experiment to combine him with an alien human hybrid, and they had these creatures in this laboratory where it looked like a mattress or a refrigerator with three eyes on it. These creatures we can't describe. And the aliens on their planet, they ate something like chalk, and it was very hot, and they lived in Pueblos. And they lived in allegedly in a galaxy that was in the solar system. Of that was the Zeta Reticuli, which is where the gray aliens allegedly are. But these were called the Ebians. And the Greys like colder weather, and they're at war with the gray aliens. Now I'm talking about the Matrix movie, and I'm just reading information about it to just catch you up what we were doing. The film is known to popularizing a visual effect known as bullet time, which allows a shot to progress in slow motion while the camera appears to move through the scene at normal speed. Bullet time has been described as a visual analogy for privileged moments consciousness within the Matrix and throughout the film. Thank you, Kathy. I really appreciate you. A visual analogy of the privileged moments of the consciousness within the Matrix. And throughout the film, the effect is used to illustrate the character exertion of control over the time and space. Washawisk's first imagined the action sequence that slowed the time while the camera pivoted rapidly around the subject, proposed the effect in their screenplay. For the film, when John Giatta read the script, he pleaded with an effects producer at Mass Illusion to let him work on the project and created a prototype that led to him becoming the film's visual effects supervisor. The method used for creating these effects involved a technically explained vision of an old art photography technique known as time slice photography, in which array of cameras are placed around the object and triggered simultaneously. Each camera captures a still picture contributing one frame the other video sequence, which creates the effect virtual camera moment. Scared. The illusion of a viewpoint moving around an object that appears frozen in time. The bullet time effect is similar but slightly more complicated, incorporating temporal motion so that rather than appearing totally frozen, the scene progresses in slow and viable motion. The camera's position and exposure were pre-visualized using a 3D simulation instead of firing cameras simultaneously. The visual effects team fired the cameras fractions of the second after others so each camera could capture action and progress, creating a super slow motion effect. When the frames were put together, the resulting slow motion effects reached a frame frequency of 12,000 per second. As proposed in a normal 24 frames per second film, stranded movie cameras were placed at the ends of the array to pick up the normal speed actions before and after. Because the cameras circle the subject almost completely, and most of the sequences, computer and technology was used to edit out the cameras that appeared in the background on the other side. To create backgrounds, Gaeta hired George Barshukov, who created 3D models based on the geometry of buildings and used the photographs of the buildings themselves as a texture. The photorealistic surroundings generated by the method were incorporated into the bullet time scene, and algorithms based on optical flow were used to interlopate between still images to produce fluent dynamic motion. The computer generated lead in and out. Slides were filled in between frames in sequence to get an illusion of orbiting scene. ManX Visual Effects used a cluster farm running the Unix-like operating system FreeBSD render many of the film's visual effects. ManX also handled creature effects such as Sientals and machines and real-world scenes. Amologic created a code hallway and exploding agent at the end of the film. DFILM managed scenes that required heavy use of digital compositioning, such as Neo's jump off the skyscraper helicopter crash into building. The ripple effect, later seen and created digitally, shot also included practical elements, and months of extensive research were needed. Correct explosives use. The scene was shot colliding quarter scale helicopter mock up into glass wall, wired concentric rings explosions. The explosions were then triggered in sequence from the center outward to create a wave of exploding gas. Exploding glass. The photogrammetric and image based computer generated background approaches in the Matrix bullet theme time evolved into innovations unveiled the sequels The Matrix Reloaded, The Matrix Revolutions, and The Matrix and the method using real photographs of the buildings as texture for 3D models eventually led to visual effects team to digitalize all data such as scenes, characters' motions, and expressions. It also led to development of universal capture, a process which samples and stores facial details and expressions to high resolutions. With these highly detailed collective data, the team were able to create a virtual cinematography which characterizes location, events, can all be created digitally and viewed through virtual cameras, eliminating restrictions on real cameras. I know, Sarah. Absolutely, it's like when Michelangelo and those philosophers and artists made these masterpieces. Home, the Matrix was released on DVD and last or disc in the original aspect ratio of 2:39:1 in September 21, 1999. The US from Warner Home Video was as in 133:1 aspect of the Hong Kong from ERA Entertainment. It was released on VHS in both full screen and widescreen formations, followed on December 7, 1999. After this, its DVD release, it was the first DVD to sell more than 1 million copies in the US. By 2000, the film went on to become the first to sell more thank you, than 3 million copies in the US. At that point, it became the top selling DVD release of all time, holding this record for a few months before being surpassed by Gladiator. By November 10, 2003, 1 month after The Matrix Reloaded DVD was released, the sales of the Matrix DVD had exceeded 300 million copies. It has then debuted on both VHS and DVD formats. In the UK, November 29, 1999, The Matrix sold more than 107,000 DVD copies in just weeks before Armageddon's record for being the country's best-selling DVD title. The Ultimate Matrix Collection was released on HD DVD on May 22, 2007, and on Blu ray. On October 14, 2008, the film was also released standalone on the 7th anniversary edition Blu ray and Digibook format on March 31, 2009, 10 years after the day the film was released. Theoretically, in 2010, the film had another DVD released along the two sequences complete Matrix trilogy. It was also released on 4K HDR Blu ray on May 22, 2018. The film, as part of the Matrix trilogy, was released on 4K Ultra HD Blu ray on October 30, 2018. The Matrix grossed 27.8 million during the opening weekend, as well as earnings as 37.4 million in its first 5 days. It surpassed The Lost in Space and Incident Proposal, simultaneously having the biggest April Easter opening weekends. The film had the second highest opening weekend for a spring starter film, trailing behind Liar Liar. 3 years later, in 2002, Matrix records for having the largest April Easter opening weekends would be taken by The Scorpion King and Panic Room, respectively. It had the highest opening weekend of in any 1999 film, topping Payback. Additionally, this was the biggest opening week for the Keanu Reeves film since The Speed. In 1994, it would go on the rank number at the box office during the weekend, beating out Forces of Nature, 10 Things I Hate About You, The Out of Towners Analyzers, and this EDTV. The film would remain at the top of the box office for 2 weeks until it was overtaken by Life. During this fourth weekend, The Matrix briefly returned to number one spot. The following week of the film would be displaced by The Entrapment. All right. And we're going to talk more about the Matrix movie, but that is it for this live stream. And also, I appreciate everybody for coming here for this kind of shortish live. And also, I'll tell you, the time is very special. It's 5:55. It's 5:55. That 5:55 is a means that the prayers are being answered. That's what that means. Sarah says, shaking my head, 25 years since, and here we are with AI Stargate agendas. I know the movie was about warning people against AI taking over, and look what they're doing. It's really cringe. Sarah, this has been amazing, Greet. I'm glad that you like my voice as much as I like your voice, and I'm glad that you like me and the chat. Although I don't need other people's approval, I appreciate you being here and the other people that came through or lurking. I appreciate everybody. And I'll be doing the live stream in the evening, Friday evening, which is this evening. And I wish all of you well, and shout out to all of you coming in. And let's do this. Let's see. And peace. All right, the balloons. Shout out the balloons. And here we go.